In the last part, we uncovered the painful truth, how years of love without boundaries can turn into a quiet kind of disrespect. But knowing the reason isn't enough. Because awareness without change is just another form of suffering. So, now the question becomes, how do you rebuild respect when it's already broken? How do you teach your grown children to see you again, not as a resource, but as a human being worthy of love and dignity? Let me tell you a story. The story of Sarah. Sarah was 67, a warm-hearted mother of 2. A woman who spent her entire life saying yes. Her son, Mark, 38, successful, confident, and emotionally dependent in ways he couldn't see. He called her for everything: bills, childcare, emotional breakdowns. And every time she picked up the phone, she said, "Of course, darling. I'll handle it." Years passed like this. Her life revolved around his needs. Her peace, gone. Her time, borrowed. Her boundaries, invisible. Until one day, something changed. It was a Tuesday morning. Mark called again. "Mom, I need you to pick up the kids. Urgent meeting." Sarah looked at her calendar. She had plans with a friend, her first outing in months, and for the first time, she whispered to herself, "What about me?" Her voice trembled as she said, "Mark, I can't. I have an appointment." He paused. Then snapped, "Mom, really? What's more important than your grandkids?" She stayed quiet, her hands shaking. After a long silence, she said, "My life, Mark, my life matters too." He hung up. And she cried, not out of guilt, but out of something new: release. That single no was the beginning of her freedom. Because reclaiming respect doesn't start with confrontation, it starts with a boundary. Boundaries aren't walls. They're doors with locks, so love can enter respectfully. For too long, parents confuse boundaries with cruelty. They say, "If I stop helping, won't they think I don't care?" No, if you never stop, they'll think you'll always be there no matter how they treat you. Setting a boundary is not punishment. It's education. When Sarah said no, Mark felt anger. But underneath that anger was confusion, because for the first time, his mother wasn't bending. She wasn't rescuing. That moment taught him more about respect than 30 years of comfort ever could. Money is love's most misunderstood language. For years, Sarah had bailed Mark out car payments, rent, emergencies. She thought she was helping him breathe. But in truth, she was teaching him to never swim. Parents, listen carefully. When financial help becomes expectation, you're not supporting your child. You're erasing their accountability. Sarah stopped giving money unconditionally. She said, "Mark, I'll help once, but after that, you'll need to handle it yourself." He was furious. He accused her of being selfish, ungrateful, even cold. But she stayed calm. Because she knew anger is the first stage of awakening. A few months later, Mark figured it out. He budgeted, he took responsibility, and when he called her next time, it wasn't for help. It was just to talk. You see, when you remove the constant rescue, you make space for growth. You allow your children to feel the weight of life, and through that, they rediscover empathy. Ask yourself, do you drop everything when they call? Do you carry their stress as if it's your own? Do they ever ask how you feel? If not, it's time to draw a quiet line. Sarah began by scheduling her availability. If Mark called during her rest hour, she'd text back later. At first, it felt unnatural, even rebellious. But slowly, she noticed something powerful. When she respected her own time, others started respecting it too. Boundaries aren't announcements. They're consistency. You don't need to explain. You just need to repeat your limits calmly, until people learn to adapt. Because when you constantly rearrange your life to fit someone else's urgency, you teach them that your peace is disposable. And once peace becomes disposable, respect disappears. Mark often criticized Sarah's choices. "Mom, don't wear that. Mom, why did you spend on that?" At first, she defended herself, explaining, apologizing. Then one day, she simply said, "I like it. It makes me happy," and smiled. That moment carried more power than 1,000 arguments, because dignity doesn't shout. It stands quietly, rooted in truth. One mistake parents make, they build their entire identity around their children. So when disrespect comes, it feels like death of purpose. Sarah changed that. She joined a painting class, volunteered at an animal shelter, and went to the park every weekend. Mark noticed. "Mom, you seem busy lately." She smiled. "Yes, Mark. I finally learned how to live for myself." That's when it hit him. His mother wasn't an accessory to his life. She had a life of her own. Over time, their calls changed. He started asking, "How are you, Mom?" He started visiting, not out of guilt, but genuine love. The distance that once felt cold now became healthy space. And through that space, respect quietly returned. Not every story ends this way. Some adult children never understand. They stay angry. They walk away. If that happens, let them. Because you can't teach respect to someone still addicted to comfort. But you can model it. You can embody it. And one day, maybe not soon, they'll remember your calm voice, your self-respect, your peace. That memory will become their mirror. Reclaiming dignity isn't about fixing your child. It's about healing yourself. It's about realizing that your worth is not measured by your usefulness. Your worth simply is. When you hold your head high, when you stop chasing approval, when you start choosing peace, you change the vibration of every relationship around you. Respect begins with self. Boundaries are the language of love. And peace. Peace is not found in being needed. It's found in being valued. So, to every parent who has ever felt invisible, this is your time. Not to beg for attention, but to return to yourself, stand tall. Speak gently. And remember, you taught them how to walk once. Now, teach them how to respect by example, because love without boundaries is slavery. But love with dignity is freedom. Reclaim your dignity. Your peace is your legacy.